Hey, this is Scott Eustace, Healthy Golf. Going to recreate the talk for braid and flow that we did, that Healthy Golf did concerning wetlands. It was part of a triptych of wetlands, prisons, and microbes. See how these subjects intellectually weave together. That was the point of the discussion. So here are some slides. Basically, Healthy Golf, we care for the wetlands, and the hot topic in 2020 is that there are companies denying climate change impacts to wetlands. You know, not a new thing. Oil companies deny a lot of things. If I got to pick on name brand companies, Chevron destroyed the coast. They're the biggest company liable for fixing Louisiana's wetlands. The Taylor Energy Company has the longest running oil spill currently that is still spilling out of Mississippi Canyon 20. So we've got, those damages to the wetlands that they're denying from 40 years ago. We've got ongoing oil spills that they're denying responsibility for right now. And then in the future, going forward, 75% of wetlands loss is due to rising sea levels, which drowns a lot of that marsh that you see in this photo, which I believe is in Plaquemines Parish. So Venture Global, I would identify, other than Taylor and Chevron, they have their place. But Venture Global is denying that their vast increases in carbon dioxide emissions, over 8 megatons carbon dioxide equivalent per year at their Plaquemines plant that we're commenting on, and in August they denied that there's any proof that their 8 megatons of carbon emissions is going to alter the fate of wetlands in Louisiana. We think that's pretty significant. 8 megatons a year is greater than most nations of the world. So this facility in Plaquemines Parish, not to mention the other 8 whatever LNG export facilities that are planned, which all require massive refrigeration, which is a they're all multiple power plants. You could think of them that way. They're all significant in terms of carbon increases to come. And so they're driving this effect. So this is just the latest in this kind of like denial of climate change, but I wanted to show you specifically this company, Venture Global LNG, denying that they have to assess their wetlands impact under the law. FERC, who is one of the federal agencies, the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, objected to this idea that their climate impact was not significant. And they saw, this is one of the FERC commissioners dissenting to FERC's ultimate approval of the project. The federal government of the United States did approve, but Commissioner Glick objected and talked about the refusal to assess the significance of the project's contribution to the harm caused by climate change is what leads the commission to approve the project. And then it's interesting that you can claim that this project has no significant environmental impacts while at the same time refuse to assess the significance of the project's impact. Yeah, that irony is not lost on us. But this is important. Climate change is the #1 driver of wetlands loss into the future. And this is from the head of CPRA, the head scientist, saying that, all the modeling, the water rises too fast, and at the microbial level, just a little bit too fast means a lot for plants. These plants can grow with the rising sea, and that's why they're much better than levees. Having wetlands is a lot better than levees because levee is a verb. You got to spend billions of dollars to keep piling sand on top of things. Wetlands do that themselves if you can keep the sea level rise slow enough. It will not be slow enough. And if it gets so fast, well, it's really bad news. And then at Healthy Gulf, we're all about accountability and like, what is the benefit of having something like Venture Global LNG? It is an environmental justice area. We do see the loss of local businesses, which are Black-owned businesses, um, because these areas are always put in environmental justice towns or block groups if you're going by the census. So on the left, we just have this kind of environmental justice assessment, which was the most accurate economic prediction of the economic benefits. So the environmental justice reviews that you see folks asking for are much better than the official economic reviews for actually predicting the economic benefit. You know, like this was a pipeline going through a poor area in St. James, the Welcome St. James area, right? And saying that the benefits are that construction workers would utilize local gas stations, convenience stores, and restaurants, and that's the local economic benefit. But we're in, this is the Himel's seafood store, which should be one of those convenience stores, and it closed after the Nucor plant opened, right? We know these areas in Plaquemines Parish and St. James, these areas that are African American areas, suffer from disinvestment at the state level, at the parish level. You know, their ditches aren't maintained, their roads aren't maintained, and their local businesses fail, which means, you know, in a community like St. James that's 95% Black, or District 7 Plaquemines, which is over 60% Black, it means that Black-owned businesses fail. And these do not provide the economic benefits promised, much less the economic benefits that are assessed in the environmental justice review. So we talked about that, and we talked about the carceral state and that kind of system of power, like holding back Black businesses as part of keeping people desperate and exploiting people's labor. And just know the connection between wetlands and prisons is that it's the same companies using prison labor as affecting the wetlands. You won't see Venture Global LNG use the TWP, the Temporary Worker Program, or Transitional Worker Program, excuse me. But we talked a lot about Dr. Armstrong's work documenting the rate of death in parish prisons in Louisiana, which is particularly high. I think she mentioned East Baton Rouge Parish is a place where the rate of death in prison is very high. And this kind of information is public but not accessible, so you have to use public records requests to find it. You know, Healthy Gulf, we're very concerned about these companies like Venture Global drowning the wetlands, but realize that a lot of the subcontractors and oil services for Venture Global are going to use this transitional work program. So we also have to do public records requests to uncover that transitional worker, the labor system, right? The prison system is a labor system in the United States, and it's a labor system that was created for Black people under Jim Crow. So that legacy continues, and this public records request was inspired by Carly Berlin getting the list of companies who use the temporary worker program. It won't be Venture Global, it'll be the subcontractors, the oil services folks, and a lot of other companies as well. But that is an intersection between the prison system and the wetlands. Yeah. But basically, check out Land Loss Lookout. From there in the talk, I just went and showed people the sea level rise project so they could get a chance of what it means for their students or themselves to use it. So that's all. This is Scott Eustace, just documenting a little bit of our braid and flow process, since the breakout group wasn't recorded and some people have asked what to look for. I'll share these slides in the comments of the video. Peace.